Hey everyone, welcome to Sideshow's First Look. Today we're taking a look at the Mandalorian and Blurrg 6-scale figure set by Hot Toys from The Mandalorian. The box is a very large shoebox design. It features the characteristic two-tone approach of a dark gray angular window onto a field of black, with a photo of Din Djarin astride a mighty Blurrg, reins gripped tight in his fist with the butt of his Amben Phase Pulse Blaster resting on his right hip. The Hot Toys cigar band wraps the lower third of the box in the warm tones that we've come to associate with the Mandalorian family of figures. And it features two more images of Mando and his steed. Removing the top of the shoebox reveals the expected insert with a large and fantastic photo of the Mandalorian striding across Arvala 7 next to the Blurrg. Pulling out that insert reveals a two-tier clamshell. The top layer features two sections, one with the Mandalorian 6-scale figure in the character's original Durasteel armor, and the other with all of his accessories, including the sniper rifle, a wired grappling hook, a flamethrower effect, a tracking fob, a thermal detonator, the blaster pistol, an assortment of 4 swap-out hands, and a swap-out Beskar pauldron. The second tier of the clamshell contains the Blurrg, as well as a Rocky-themed diorama figure stand. With all of the materials out of the box, we get a better impression of the enormity of this collectible set. There's the Mandalorian, right next to the Blurrg, which we've already affixed to the diorama base. All of Mando's accessories are here, including the IB-94 blaster pistol, the Beskar pauldron, the tracking fob, the thermal detonator, the flamethrower effect, the grappling line, and the Amben Phase Pulse Blaster rifle. Arrayed here, you can also see the 4 additional hands that can be used with the figure, including a pair of trigger hands and a pair of fists. Now let's take a closer look at the set, starting with the Mandalorian. Mando's trademark Beskar helmet is rendered in a metallic paint scheme subtly weathered in hues of umber. His cape is a neutral gray, and downscales in such a way that it falls naturally over his shoulders to mid-calf. The fabric undersuit is of a warmer gray than the cape, and it fits comfortably over a padded suit beneath it, while a fabric cummerbund and vest provide contrast in 2 tones of tan. Over all of that, we have the Mandalorian's Durasteel armor, most of which is painted in undulating shades of umber, strategically marred by dents and scratches that reveal the metallic tones beneath. The pauldrons and cuisses are attached to the undersuit with Velcro, and the right pauldron can be replaced with its Beskar equivalent. The belt and bandolier are comprised of a combination of faux leather and molded plastic components, some of which are removable. The sniper rifle can be attached at this point here on the bandolier, and the thermal detonator can be attached at the belt. Finally, the boots are molded plastic with a cut at the ankle to allow for the maximum possible range of mobility. The Blurrg is massive, as it should be. The beast and most of its tack are comprised of molded plastic elements, with the exception of the reins, which are comprised of a faux leather material wrapped at key points with a scaled linen material. The Blurrg's legs and its forearms each feature a single point of articulation at the hip and shoulder respectively. The sculpt faithfully recreates the textures seen in the show, with every bump and wrinkle realized in sharp detail. The paint is predictably on point, mostly in hues of mottled greens, fading into a rosy pink at the mouth. The eyes are creepily accurate to the on-screen beast, as is the saliva-coated tongue, visible through the partially open mouth. The teeth look like a cross between a piranha and a T-Rex, and glint like moistened daggers in the light. Now let's test the articulation of the Mandalorian figure. The helmeted portrait rests on a double-jointed neck, and can rotate a full 360 degrees if necessary. 45 degrees is the magic number here, as that's the extent to which you'll be able to look down, look up, and tilt from side to side. You'll also be able to shift the head from left to right and forward and back, thanks to that aforementioned double-jointed neck. The shoulders will shrug, dip, press, and row. The shoulders will also achieve a full 90 degrees of lateral lift. You'll also be able to hit more than 90 degrees of anterior lift, and about 90 degrees of posterior lift. The double jointed elbows will enable you to bend the arm about 150 degrees. And the typical cut just below the deltoid will enable you to rotate the arm. The torso will provide about 15 degrees of ab crunch. And a bit more in terms of extension. There's also about 15 degrees of play when leaning. And about 30 degrees of torso twist. The legs will give you nearly 90 degrees of lateral raise. And nearly 90 degrees to the front, with only about 10 degrees to the rear. The double jointed knee will nearly allow Mando to lift his foot all the way up. And as expected, a break in the thigh allows for the leg to twist there. Finally, the break in the boot single jointed ankle combo will allow the foot to extend, contract, pronate, and supinate. The articulation on the Blurrg is minimal but bears mentioning. Each limb will allow for some slight movement at the point at which it connects to the body. Now here's an extreme close-up of the Mandalorian's accessories. The Ambin Face Pulse Blaster is rendered and painted in fantastic detail, from the grain of the wood to the patina of the forked barrel. Even the tiniest details of the Blastech IB-94 are sharp, and the weathering gives the impression that it's seen a fair bit of use. The flame effect is molded from a gorgeous clear plastic and will doubtlessly provide some attractive effects both on the shelf and in photography. Both tracking fob and thermal detonator are crisp and shiny. And the grappling line is composed of a stiff metal wire, allowing for the impression of it having just been fired from the vambrace to which it attaches. And finally, here's a look at the hands, including the pair of fists and the pair of trigger hands, which will allow the Mandalorian to dual wield his weapons. This has been Sideshow's first look at the Mandalorian and Blurrg 6-scale figure set by Hot Toys from The Mandalorian Season 1. Be sure to follow Unsealed and Revealed, Strike a Pose, and How to Be a Poser for even more 6-scale figure shenanigans. If you'd like more info on the figures featured in this video, follow the link below, and, as always, don't forget to let your geek side show.
Did you enjoy that video? Be sure to subscribe by hitting the S icon on your screen and click the bell icon to be notified whenever a new video is posted. If you'd like more info on the items featured in this video, click the link provided under product info. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to let your geek side show.